Do you hear that? That's two things. The sound of an almost empty granola jar and also a quiet house. So I'm gonna take advantage of this, a free and clear kitchen, and I'm going to restock our homemade granola, and I thought I would show you how I do it. Hi, I'm Reagan here at the Storehouse Farm. Welcome to my kitchen. Here at the Storehouse, we are starting a Christmas tree and flower farm, and so we're just bringing you guys along as that comes to life. Granola is one of those things that is sometimes, it just feels like it's easier to buy, but I'm here to show you that it's not. It's so easy to make. I usually will double the batch, and then we are set for like a month or 2 months, and then I just store it in some big glass jars and we're good to go. We eat this on top of yogurt. My kids will also eat it by itself. If we leave the clusters in, we will add that to trail mix. My kids will also eat it like cereal, just pour it in a bowl with milk. So very versatile. I'm gonna share the basic recipe that we use, and I will type it down below so you don't need to write it down or anything just yet. And then from there, you can really add anything. That's what I love about this recipe specifically, is it's not flavor specific. It's a really good generic granola, but it's also delicious. Like if you were to just follow this recipe and not add anything extra, you would be good to go. That's left. So here's what you need. The main ingredient, oats, of course. We buy ours in bulk at Costco. The basic recipe that I have does not include this, but I'm gonna include some ground flaxseed, honey, maple syrup, pecans, sliced almonds. I like to add pumpkin seeds and sunflower kernels as well, unsweetened coconut, whoa, that's slippery. Coconut oil, I also like to buy that in bulk at Costco, and some salt. I will fill up this jar once it's cooled, and then I will probably have to bring some other jars out too. So you're gonna need a pot to melt your coconut oil and mix your maple syrup and honey together, and also a really large bowl. I'm gonna get the coconut oil going on the stove so that can start melting. Normally I would make a double batch, but I'm just gonna do one this time for the sake of time. Okay, let's get baking. I'm gonna try and use and take advantage of the last little bit of daylight. So a 1/4 cup of coconut oil. I used to measure everything by eye, and I kind of got a little lazy with that, and I accidentally put too much coconut oil in one time, and it really kind of messed with the flavor. It was very overpowering. So I would recommend at least measuring that out. I'm gonna get this going on the stove to start melting. Once that's completely melted, I will add in the maple syrup and the honey as well. And then once it's cooled a little bit more, I will also add the vanilla, which I forgot to show you earlier, but this is also very important. You can also add cinnamon. I don't love cinnamon granola, so I don't, but you totally can. All right, now I'm gonna make the granola mixture in my large bowl. So 4 cups of oats. 1, 2, I do heaping cups. Even when I'm doubling the batch, I do heaping cups. I am gonna do 1 cup of coconut flakes. I like to do unsweetened because the honey and the maple syrup do enough sweetening for me, but use whatever you have. This is kind of like You know how people make soups and it's like everything but the kitchen sink? Like I was cleaning out my fridge and I made this soup. This is kind of like that. Like when you're cleaning out your pantry, just use what you have. Cup of sliced almonds. You can do whole almonds and cut them if you want. I just do this because it's easier. Cup of pecans. You could also do walnuts. We like pecans, but I'm gonna get my grinder out to chop these up a little smaller. I got this at the thrift store a while back, and I never wash it because I only ever use it for pecans. I guess you could just use it for other kinds of nuts, but I don't know what other use it would have besides chopping nuts. But I love it. And I saved it from the landfill, so I feel a little bit better when I use it. This recipe is also a really great one if you have kids in your house that want to help with things. It's very hard to mess up, and the measuring is just very basic. Now I'm gonna go check on my coconut oil. That is melted. Sorry, that was so loud. I'm gonna add my half a cup of honey to that pot so it can all melt together. My half a cup of maple syrup. So I turned the stove off so that that all could incorporate without heating up some more. Also, fun fact, probably not fun, probably weird. I do not like honey by itself. So anytime I'm pouring honey and I get it on the side and I like, before I close it, I have to have one of my kids or my husband like wipe it and lick it. So that way the lid doesn't get sticky, but no one's here right now. So I guess the lid's just gonna stick on. Okay, while that is incorporating, I'm gonna add the rest of my ingredients. I'm gonna add a cup of these sprouted pumpkin seeds. Sunflower kernels. I don't have too many left, so I'm just gonna add the rest. And then I'm gonna add, I think I'm gonna do like a half a cup of this ground flax. This is a third of a cup, but I'll do a little extra. Again, this is something that I don't normally add. It's just kind of something I'm trying out. So it won't be in the recipe down below, but see what happens. I will report back. Okay, I like to do a teaspoon of salt. I'm just using pink salt. Now this is ready to mix. Once this is mixed together, I'm gonna go grab my maple syrup, honey, coconut oil mixture from the stove. It's been sitting on warm and I think it's probably pretty well incorporated at this point. And then I'm gonna add my teaspoon of vanilla to that mixture before I add it into here. All incorporated together. I'm gonna add the vanilla. I do about a teaspoon, but I always measure vanilla with my eyes because I have yet to find a recipe where it's a problem that there's too much. And actually this vanilla, our neighbors down the street made this for us for Christmas, which was so thoughtful. Okay, I'm gonna pour this over top. Just wanna make sure it's evenly coated. If you wanted to add dried fruit to this recipe. You totally can. I would do that after it's cooked though. So once you've put it in the oven, baked it, and it's cooled, as you're putting it into your jars, that's when I would add like dried craisins or raisins or blueberries, whatever you're wanting to add. All right, mixed. Now I'm going to turn my oven to 250. To bake this, you're gonna need 1 edged cookie sheet and some parchment paper. The edges are just gonna help as you toss the granola. You're gonna wanna toss it every 15 to 20 minutes. I will say this, you can do this one of 2 ways. You can make it more of a finer in size granola, so not as many clusters, or you can make a clustered granola with this. So the less time that you flip it in the oven, the less times that you flip it in the oven, the more clustered your granola will be. I like ours to kind of be in the middle, so instead of flipping every 15 minutes for 1 whole hour, I do every 20 or 25 minutes, or if I forget, I go a little bit longer. And then once it starts to get a little brown, that's when I'm gonna take it out, and I'm gonna let it cool completely before I put it into my jars. If you don't wait for it to cool completely and put it into your jars, it's gonna get soggy and there will be no crunch in your granola. And honestly, I don't know anyone that wants soggy granola. I'm gonna go ahead, the oven's at 140, I don't care. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the oven anyways. And I'm gonna set a timer on my phone to remind me to go back and toss this every once in a while. Once the granola is done, I will take it out, put it on a cooling rack, and let it sit. Honestly, I'll probably let it sit overnight. If I don't put it away before I go to bed, I'll just lay a clean dish towel over top of it and put it into the jars in the morning. I really don't like soggy granola, so that's why I err on the side of more time to cool. So I will set it out and most likely not put it away until tomorrow morning. But either way, it will get put away in some of those jars up there, and then I'll store it in my pantry. Let me know some of your favorite tried and true homemade pantry staples. We are always looking for new recipes. Bonus if they're easy, extra bonus if they're also kid friendly.